That is called the 2-5-1 ending. Very, very common sequence of chords found in loads of popular songs. Hey everybody, welcome to Keyboard Skills Pro. And if you've always wondered what musicians are talking about when they say, hey, that's a 2-5-1, or if you've maybe got a music theory question, it says, on the score, find a 2-5-1 ending. Let me show you how you can actually see that on a piece of music and also listen out for it. Come over to the keys and let's explore what 2-5-1 means. Here we go. So let's begin by playing the last phrase of that standard. It's a tune called On the Sunny Side of the Street. It's a lovely old number from the 1930s, written by the great Jimmy McHugh with words by Dorothy Fields. And the last phrase goes like this. And that bit at the end is the 2-5-1 sequence. Okay, so what do we mean by 2-5-1? Well, it's a shorthand, a quick way of saying this is the sequence that the chords, the harmony, if you will, that the music will take, and the order that these chords will go in, to create a finished ending. Now, normally 2-5-1 chord sequences happen when you come to the end of a section. Okay, so in a popular song, the sections are 8 bars long. So here we go. Okay, a bit of bass. Here is bar 8. And so it's bar 7 and bar 8 that contain the 2-5-1 sequence. So here's the last phrase of On the Sunny Side of the Street. And you can see there that the final chords going towards the end are D minor 7, G7, and then a C chord. Okay, so forget the sevens for the moment. Let's take the chords back to their basic form. So D little m means D minor, G would mean G major, and C, of course, means C major. Now, actually, if you actually play those in sequence, look, da 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 da. So for those of you who play chords, you might be going, okay, so yeah, got that, D minor, G major, C major. So, Tom, what's this 2-5-1 nonsense you keep going on about? Well, it's all to do with the theory behind those chords. So, if we finish on a C chord, the music is in the key of C major. So, let's play our C major scale. There we go, okay. Now, what we then want to do is number the scale notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so the sequence of 2, 5, 1 means that the chords will follow these notes. 2, going to 5, going to 1. There we go, look, so in the key of C, the second note is a D, the fifth note is the G, that's called the dominant, and number 1 is called the tonic. And that's where we get those numbers from. So hopefully some of you might have just had, now I understand it, a bit of a light bulb moment. The second note of the scale, going to the fifth note of the scale, going home to the first note. That's what we mean by 2, 5, 1. And if you listen to it, it literally is going, it's the end, and it makes a finished sound. That in music is called a perfect cadence, incidentally. Okay, so then how do we know what chords to play over a 2-5-1? Well, normally, if the chords are not changed, they will be the chords that come out of the key, the scale that you are playing. So, in the key of C, note number 1 produces a C major chord, and we always do this pattern, don't we? Play, miss, play, miss, play. So the first note produces a major chord. Makes sense, doesn't it? Because it's C major. D produces a minor chord. That's the second, and the second chord of a major key is always a minor chord. 3 is E minor, 4 is F major, 5 is G major, A minor, and of course B diminished on number 7. So that's just the basic chord flavours. So that means that the second chord will be D minor, the fifth chord will be G major, and C will be number 1 major. And that's a 2-5-1 chord sequence. D minor, G major, C. So let's put those basic chords. Notice how we've took it back to raw, simple chords in root position. Simple 3-note shape like that. And there's our ending. 2 and 5 goes to 1. And that's in any major key. Any of the 12 major keys, F major, B flat major, E flat major, G major, whatever, that is the sequence 2-5-1. Now, of course, what then happens with composers, they go, well, that's fine, but of course those chords are a bit simple. So depending on the style of the music, you will then probably have some variations on those chords. Colouring notes is the way to think of them. They're the same chord with something extra that gives that chord a little something else. So in the case of the D minor, as you can see on the screen, we're going to put the 7 above the D. That's the C, look. So there we've got D minor 7, but it's still based on the D, look. That means it's the second chord, it's a minor still, and the 7 just adds a little bit more flavour. Now G7, that's a dominant 7th. Dominant 7ths are a family of chords that have a very strong sound. So G major, look, 7 above should be F sharp, but we're going to make it F natural because F is the note of in C major, and that pushes the music home. So there we go, da 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 da, G7, and then home to C. And you can see that dominant 7th chord really pushes the music home. And there you go, that's your 2-5-1. Now, obviously, if you were playing with a band, you wouldn't necessarily stick to root chords, or if you're playing the organ or the keyboard, we do our inversions. There you go. And so every time you play a pop song, the ending, not always, but the ending will certainly be 5-1, and before the chord, the penultimate chord, the one before that, normally will be the second one of the key. So what would it sound like in a different key, for example? Well, let's say if we did it in F major. So F is my 1, 2 is G, so that's got to be G minor, and of course 5 is C. So this is what it would sound like in a different key. And again, let's do some inversions. It is now the end. Okay, or I don't know, let's do D major. There you go, and you've heard that and played it 101 times in all your songs. But that's what we mean by 2-5-1. It's a special chord sequence, normally used for endings. It creates a perfect finished ending, and it's basing the chord in the sequence. The second one normally is a minor, based on the second chord note of the scale, which produces the second chord. The fifth note of the scale, the dominant, is very important, pushes our fifth chord home to 1, which is the tonic. So next time you're playing, folks, look at the last bar of your song, go back to the bar before, and you'll see 1 or 2 chords, and it sometimes, not always, but a lot of the time, you'll see a sequence called 2-5-1, and that's where it all comes from. A little bit of theory helps you understand. Thanks for watching, everybody. Do take care of yourselves. Hit the old subscribe button. My name's Tom. Thanks for watching Keyboard Skills Pro, and we'll see you in another fun music lesson, hopefully very soon. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.